Hi, today I wanted to share a little bit about hospice care and how to tend and take care of someone that you love in their or your own home, and instead of having people in nursing homes. And it may seem like a huge undertaking, and it can be for sure. That's why it's really important to do a few things that I learned, and I would say kind of the hard way, by thinking I could do so much myself. You really can't. It's not a one-person job at all, no matter how little the needs may be initially. So you always want to call on as much help as you can, and finding a good hospice care company is paramount to making that job go as easy as possible. I can't say enough about the hospice care nurses that helped me take care of my sister. They were just exceptional. They were exceptional. The aides, the assistants as well. And you have the freedom, once you find a company that you want to use, you have the freedom to change that company if anything goes wrong. But communication, finding out how they communicate to one another from nurse to nurse, is really important, because this company is, although the nurses were excellent, their communication system was really their downfall for me. And that is, each time a new nurse would come in, instead of being able to look at notes, on an iPad, she would have to take a history and hear things again and again, which is exhausting, absolutely exhausting. So it's really important. Write things down. That helps a great deal. So you don't have to keep repeating and using your voice to explain what needs to be done or what you understand from things, or your list of questions. Really important to keep them always there in the forefront. A running list of what concerns you might have that they can address. But finding a company that find out first how it is that they communicate from nurse to nurse. Some place that's local. I had a company that was located about an hour away from where I lived. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that, and it wasn't really a problem, because the nursing staff that they make sure it's the areas that that they cover are well covered and well supplied with good staff. But just sometimes the nurses would have to go back and write the reports, and I would feel for them, because they drove such a long distance, or they'd have to drive such a long distance to go back to their company, their headquarters. So finding a local place, I think, is really, really helpful, and making sure that they have a really clean, neat, fast communication system. Like when you make a phone call and you're in need, you do not want to have to explain again who you are, what your person's name, the person you're taking care of, their name. They should, it's like, and I said this before, boy, I can call and order a pizza and they know more about me than, when I called this one company. So it was so frustrating to have to, give my full name, give her full name, give me a number. If I just could use a number to say, here, attach me to, I need to talk to someone about, without having me to describe all that. So make sure you pick a good company. Make sure you ask those kinds of questions, how it is that their intercommunication works, and how high-tech it is, easy to use, but high-tech. So they're not handwriting notes and using notebooks, and then hoping they took down the right things. They did incredibly well for the techniques that they used. They did incredibly well, I have to say. But anyway, so that's really an important question to be asking, because they are your best company through this time of when you're watching someone you love die. And though they're still alive, they're still living. Make sure you remember that. It's really important. I had a lot of people that were kind of afraid to come, and because they were afraid of death, it's like, well, she's not dead yet. Come up while she's alive. It's not scary. It's lovely, and so anyway, so there's two very important things. So find a good company. Make sure make sure they come recommended too. Ask around. You can ask around, and even ask them for some of their referrals, to talk to them. So doing your homework, a little legwork beforehand, is going to save a lot of time. And then making sure that you ask for help, family and friends. And I've mentioned this before too, is to keep a running list of the needs that you find that you have, concerns, questions, needs, even as simply as, geez, I need this food from the food store. I can't get out to do that. And the other big thing is to make sure you're going to allot enough time for yourself so that you can heal yourself. You know, you have to heal the healer. So if you're there, not that I'm the healer, I was the healer, but I'm the tender, I'm the caretaker. So who's taking care of me while I take care of my loved one? So make sure, because you just, you know, we're not supermen, we're not superwomen. You know, we're not designed to do it all by ourselves. So make sure you call on people and you keep a list of the things that you do need, so that when someone does call to say, hey, how can I help you, boy, you have an answer. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, what do you want to do? You know, you really do need to do that. And especially if it's going to be a long term thing, because you know, even short term, you can really be worn down when you're just giving and giving, and it's a one way, you know, it doesn't, not that it's a one way street, it's not, because the gifts I received, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to describe the gifts I received by being there for my sister. And I'd do it all over again for 15 times as long as I did it, if I could have her with me. So so make sure that your intentions are good, and that you get help, help yourself by getting help for yourself. And yeah, there are ways to, it depends. If someone is really you know, bedbound, then you know, all the care that they need for their physical bodies are you know, in your hands, or at least you're managing it. So when the aides come in, the hospice aides come in to do what they need to do, that you can tell them what needs to be done, you know. And it's such an intimate and beautiful and sacred journey that you take with another person, in their dying time. You know, it's a really special time to be with another person, and all excess, you know, just falls away, and just the necessary words. And that's what I would say to people, is like, make your words count, you know. And there's no time to lose, you know. There's no time thinking you'll have tomorrow to do that, you know. It's a good example to use any time. We may not have tomorrow, we don't know. But when we do know that time is short, and to really make it meaningful. So don't dance around things. Don't pretend something isn't happening that's happening. Let them talk, if they can talk about how they feel and what's going on for them. And that's the best way you can take care of someone too, is just let them be heard. Give them voice, give them space to speak whatever they have in their hearts, you know, and help them by giving them that choice and your ear. So there are a few things, and more to follow, but just wanted to give a little update on hospice care. And you can always change your mind if there's concerns like, oh, what if I can't? Well, if you can't, then you can turn back to a nursing home, or turn to a nursing home for help. And that's okay. Everyone's got to make the right choices for themselves and all those concerned, you know. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just, can you do it? Can you try to do what you'd like to do? And that is take care of someone in their home. And if asked, I forget what the percentage is, but some, like 95% of the people say that they would like to die at home with their loved ones. I mean, really, who wouldn't want to have that? And make that a sacred and special place in time, you know. Carve away that time, so that you can give it fully to another person, because you don't get it back. So make it matter, make it count. And any way I can be helpful, I'm happy to do that, answer questions or concerns you might have. So all the best to you and your loved ones.